All right, well, this is the 2-point conversion with, I'm your host, Brandon Hurley with Jefferson Herald, and this is going to be a weekly show with Greene County head football coach Mitch Moore. Today is the season preview, and we will be kind of talking about what to expect this year and whatnot. Mitch Moore, he's in his first year as head coach. He's a Ballard High graduate in 2002.
Correct.
Then you went off to play football at Wisconsin Whitewater as a receiver, and then also coached there, and if I'm not mistaken, you won 6 championships as a player and a coach over your time there.
Was a part of a number of national championship program or teams in 05 through 07 as a player. We won my first when I was a senior. Actually getting recognized this year as our 10-year reunion.
Oh, that's awesome.
So pretty fired up about that. And then had an opportunity to go coach there a couple of years and part of another couple national championship teams in 09 and 010 and 10 as a coach. So pretty fortunate to just kind of be in the right place at the right time and get a chance to really learn some great leadership skills and really learn how to build a culture being at a program like Wisconsin Whitewater. And I still fall back on those things every single day that I learned from being a part of that program. So really neat and really fortunate to get a chance to play and coach at a place like that.
And then you also coached at Iowa State under Paul Rhodes and Matt Campbell. So tell us what that was like.
Well, both coaches, terrific football coaches first and foremost, and terrific men. I mean, both Coach Rhodes and Coach Campbell. Coach Rhodes certainly a passionate, inspiring football coach to coach for, and really love the game of football. And then Matt Campbell just embodies everything that you want to see in a football coach. He, he's a student of the game. He's a great teacher. He's a great man, and just is a really runs a really organized ship. So he's leading Iowa State in the right direction. But learned a lot from both of those guys. Had a multitude of different roles coaching at Iowa State, from special teams to helping coach receivers to off-field roles and recruiting and some operation things. So just learned a bunch of things about how to run a football program from being at Whitewater and Iowa State. And then I was also at Southeastern Oklahoma State down in the South for a year. Worked with Coach Bo Atterbury, who's the head coach there now, and learned what recruiting was like in the South. But another opportunity to see how a well-oiled machine was run at Southeastern Oklahoma State, and learned a lot from all three of those places as just how to run a program. So fortunate to have been of where I was at, but excited to be here and in my profession, kind of think it was my time to become a head coach and see if I could do it. And it's been fun. I've had a real fun 6 months, and as we all know that tomorrow night is probably what matters the most, but in terms of the public perception. But we've done a lot of great things with the kids since we've been here off the field. So I'm pretty proud of some of those feats as well.
So now that you've had 6 months with the team and leading up to the first game, what's one of the things that really sticks out with this team after working with them for so long?
Well, I think they're just they really love to work, and something maybe I didn't know what to expect when I first got here. But the kids love to work. Everything we've thrown at them, from a strength and conditioning standpoint, from a practice standpoint, from a community service standpoint, they love to work, and they've really gotten close as a group. Their cohesiveness has gotten a lot better. So it's been fun to just watch these guys grow, and become a team, and what to expect, And from 14 to 17-year-olds, I don't know if you ever know what to expect from those guys. But we've had our ups and downs, and we've had some really good highs, and we've had some practices that probably we'd want to do better. But overall, the body of work these kids have put in, I think we can expect for our kids to play with, great tempo, great passion, and hopefully tomorrow night our kids, more than anything, I just hope they have a lot of fun, because they've put a lot of work in 6 months, and I hope these kids go out and have fun playing the game of football and playing the game they love.
Yeah, absolutely. Before we keep going, we need to make sure that we are going well. I know the first time we tried this, we had some technical difficulties, so I need to periodically I'll be checking to see if we're still going well.
You bet.
And for some reason, every time I try to get on my laptop and watch the Facebook Live, it doesn't work, which...
Technology.
Yeah.
It's a beauty, isn't it?
But, yep, it looks like we're still going...
doesn't work, which...
We're hearing ourselves.
There we
here.
go. There we go.
There we go. We're going well. So I guess kind of talking about playing with the tempo and whatnot. I know that from me talking to you, you want to play fast. You want to get the ball in people's hands, get in space. So can you kind of explain to some of our viewers what offense you will be running this year?
Well, I'm not going to give away everything, Brandon, but obviously, I think, people know the offenses I've been around for the last 10 years, and the game of football has changed. Whether people want to think it or not, it has. It's not all play in the box all the time, and so we want to get our athletes out in space, and we want to get up to the line of scrimmage, and when the referee puts the ball down, we'd like to run a play within 15 seconds, and just play with a lot of tempo, and I use the word pace. I know Fred Hoiberg liked that word a lot back at Iowa State, and it's a basketball term, but we want to play with pace, and we want to play with rhythm, and we want to keep our quarterbacks and receivers and running backs just in the rhythm of the game and not let the defense from an offensive standpoint dictate what we're doing. So from that standpoint, that's offensively, I think, hopefully the fans and the parents can kind of expect for our guys to play with some good tempo. And then when I talk about getting our guys in space, is I don't want to run inside the tackles all the time, and we certainly will, but I'd like to get our guys like Lance Hughes and Carter Morton and JP and Trey Hinote, some of those guys that are pretty good athletes, get them the ball in space and let them create and let them be athletes. I think sometimes you don't want to overcoach things. Let them get the ball in their hand and be natural. We've worked on that quite a bit the last 3 weeks of just letting those guys be athletes. That's why they're out there. That's why they're playing that position. So get the ball out, spread the ball out, make teams defend us sideline to sideline, and goal line to goal line, not just right in the middle of the box, but we got to establish a run game too, and I don't want to be I'm not an air raid attack where we're just passing the ball. We've got two running backs I feel that both can contribute this year, Jake Burns and Colby Kafer, who are both good high school running backs and that can carry the load for us. So we need to be able to run the ball, and we've got a young, inexperienced offensive line, but they'll do a good job. They've done a good job in camp so far, coached by Nick Fed, who's a fabulous O-line coach in his first year coaching. He knows a lot about the game and a lot about O-line play. So they'll do a good job. And to answer your question, just a 50-50 if we can, balanced attack. Obviously, scenarios and situations will dictate how we're going to have to call a game. You can't just run, pass, and be 50-50 because that's what you want to be. The scenarios will dictate what we do, but we'd like to be a balanced attack as much as possible.
Defensively, I know last year I've talked about this a couple times, is they seem to tire out in the second half, and I know you've talked about adding more depth to that defense. So defensively, what are you going to be doing this year? Well,
defensively, we're going to be an even front, and we feel like we've got more guys, a little more depth than maybe we've had in the past because we've worked for it and we've trained that way. So I know on some of the film you can see us getting tired in the third and fourth quarters in the second half last year, but we've trained in a way that we feel that we've extended our training period times during the summer. We've extended practices a little bit and how we practice and how we tempo our defense on and off the field. So John Michael Sawhill has done just a great job of coordinating that and making sure that we're not just playing 11 guys. We're playing 15 guys. We're rotating our D-line. We've got some secondary guys that we've got a little depth in the backfield. We've got two bookend corners and that Nick Breon and Xavier Hayes that are both, I feel are going to be exceptional football players by the time their career's done. They're young, of course, but both of them are really good players. And then our safety in the back, Austin Delp was a heck of a baseball player, and he's really starting to love the game of football too, which is fun to see. And he can be a pest back there in the backfield, just kind of running that defense. And he's got some good range. So if the ball's up in the air too long, he'll be able to get in front of it and pick it off. But from a defensive standpoint, in terms of creating more depth, you got to play more players, and you got to get more guys in the game. And as I said, the game of football has changed a little bit, and offensively, you don't just play 11, you play more guys. So you got to do the same defensively too. And John Michael's done a great job of coordinating that.
So we'll take a moment to pause and thank our sponsors. We're sponsored by Doc Stadium and Tech Zone, both in Jefferson. Doc Stadium, located on the square, is home to the Carnivore, the hamburger that was voted as one of Iowa's 10 best burgers in the state. It's made with it's a 3rd-pound burger made out of locally grown, hormone-free, 90% lean beef. It comes topped with ham, cheese, and an egg. Doc Stadium is located at 113th North Chestnut Street on the Jefferson Square, complete with daily specials and a full menu. And Tech Zone, our second sponsor, they're located at 100 North Wilson Street in Jefferson on the Square, and it's now an authorized Dish Network dealer. Tech Zone also supplies security systems, including driveway alerts, alarm panels, as well as digital signage, mobile device repair, and a photo kiosk within the store as well. So we greatly want to thank those sponsors as well, and obviously Mitch Moore, who's been very patient with me and through this show and kind of getting up and running. So that's we couldn't do it without any of these people. So keep going. I just lost my train of thought. So defensively, I know you talked about two of your ends. They have a lot of length, Wade Adcock and Tyler Miller.
Yeah.
Can you kind of touch on them a little bit more and what kind of impact they'll have?
We'll start with Wade Adcock, our senior, who is really just, he's gotten better every day since I've gotten here. He's got a great work ethic. He's a great kid. He's a leader. He's actually been voted up by our leadership committee onto that council, and that's a great honor for him to do that, and that's a product of his hard work and his dedication to the program. He's a 6'4" D-end that plays with great length. He plays with his hands. He doesn't play. He does a good job of playing underneath himself, and so he creates some problems with his length. And then, of course, you've got the sophomore on the other end who's every bit of 6'8", 6'9", 240 pounds, Tyler Miller, who's got an upside that's as good as anybody in the state. When I got here in March, the thing with him was, he's got to continue to grow, and he's got to continue to get more physical, and he's done all those things, and he's understanding that he's going to have to play a lot of football for us to be successful, and he's going to have to play hard every snap. And if he needs a break, if he needs to come out, we'll get him a breather. But for us to be a good football program this year, Tyler Miller's got to have a heck of a year, and so far in practice, he creates a huge problem for us when our first team defense is up on the field. A lot of times it's hard to even throw a quick game to his side because he's 6'9", he's got a 7'3" wingspan, and he's a pest. He's a pest on that side. So from a leg standpoint on our DNs, we feel really good about that. We're as long as probably any team in our district at that position. So both guys will do a great job kind of being the bookends for us on defense.